Hello and welcome to my tutorial on how to sew a zipper into the nursing pillow cover. So I've cut out both pieces, the top and the bottom. I also have the other side, the full piece off the side. I put my interfacing on, and as in step one of the instructions for the zipper closure is I put the interfacing on this one and folded it in half. And then I skipped to step 3 to do this, just to get this ready so I don't have to iron while recording. So I fused this on and I pressed it over. So now I'm going to be placing the zipper, which I have here, along these teeth. Now this is when you want to decide whether you want the zipper pull on, because this is going to be your pillow. So if you have your pillow this way, do you want the zipper on your left or your right? So where do you prefer to open it, with your right hand this way or your left hand this way? Or would you prefer to open it from facing this direction? But I like to fold it from the left. So pull it from the left. So I'm going to sew on the left. Okay, so I like to put my needle in to where I'm going to start sewing. And then I like to open the zipper a little bit. And then I'm going to start sewing just a normal stitch. And once I get far enough, I lift up my foot, keep the needle down, and zip this back up just to get the zipper pull out of the way. So now you can see I got the zipper sewn. The fold of the fabric is right against the edge of the zipper. And then the edge of the fabric is going to be sticking back here. All right, now we're going to go into the top. And this is the part that's a little bit more confusing for some people. Now I folded over, I've already pressed the fold that's going to be right here. But what we want to do is we actually want to take this piece here. So we're going to put this on the edge of the fabric goes on the edge of the zipper with the wrong side up. And it's going to cover the zipper because later on we're going to fold this over and this is going to create a nice little flap covering the zipper. So let's sew this on. So again, I'm going to start a little beforehand. So I'm in the seam allowance, put the needle down, lift up my foot, move the zipper out of the way. So move the zipper down and then put the foot back down and start sewing. Now leaving the needle down and pulling the foot up, I'm going to zip this back up. And then I can put the foot back down and just finish the zipping. So you're going to feel the zipper against your zipper foot, and you want to make sure you keep that zipper. You're not going to be able to see it, but you're going to feel it. Now when you pull it apart, you're going to see you have the fabric here and you have this here, but we're going to fold this over. And actually I like to stitch the edge of the fold here. You don't have to, but I like to do that, so I'm going to do that real quick. And you can stitch close to the edge of this fold. It's not really needed, it's just decorative, so I like to do 1/8 of an inch. You could even do a longer stitch or contrasting thread if you want, whatever you want to do, or not do it all. Now I got the edge folded, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that back down and I'm going to stitch along the zipper, which you could see is here, but you're going to stitch along the zipper. I can feel it here. Again, right here, top stitch. If you did a contrasting thread on the edge, you probably want to do that same color there or whatever you want to do there. You're going to stitch through all layers, making sure you get the back of the tape and this fabric. So you're going to be stitching through all those layers. You're going to still need a zipper foot for this. So just make sure your fold is laying flat while you're stitching and you will be doing it correctly. Again, I'm going to have to open up the zipper. I don't really need to worry about this fabric down here, just the top, and making sure that this stitch is along the edge of the zipper here. So it helps if you just feel where the zipper is ahead, so that way you make sure you're stitching the correct way. You can also draw the line if you want to with a erasable marker or something, or chalk. But the foot wants to go along the zipper anyway, so I don't think that's too much of a problem. Now, so this is done, and there's my zipper right here underneath here. So now you have a flap that covers the zipper, and that should be flat. And then on the back, you'll see you'll have the zipper here, and this is actually sewn to the edge like we did. So everything is kind of covered, and now you have a complete piece. Now if you want to, you could baste the edges here before sewing the top, the front part to here. But basically now you're just gonna match this up, the top to the bottom, making sure you don't stitch into the zipper on the, make sure you don't stitch into the zipper right here. So if you maybe went into the seam allowance a little bit, you might have to let it out, and you might want to unzip that a little bit, which is why you might want to baste that part. What I find is easier is if I stitch, when I'm stitching this together, is actually have this side up, the side with the zipper up, so I can see where the zipper is when I'm stitching around. So I'm going to go and sew this up. So you want to stitch 5/8 of an inch from the edge, and then you probably want to finish the seam. I'm going to do a regular stitch all around, and then I would do a zigzag to finish it. Another thing you might want to do, depending on how you're sewing this and finishing the seam, is maybe do a back stitch or a second stitch over the zipper ends, because that area is going to get the most stress. Now I need to open the zipper here. If you can, open it all the way. And you're going to turn it. One thing that might help when you're turning it to get clean edges is to clip into your seam allowance. Make sure not to go over the stitch, just a little bit in your seam allowance. I would actually do that before doing my zigzag stitch that I would do to finish the edge, or whatever you're going to do for the, if you're going to use a serger or something, I would actually clip in a little bit beforehand. That will help get you a cleaner edge. But right now I'm just going to turn this right side out. I'll do some finishing later. And now I have a finished cover.